All right, yo, 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 yo. You know what it is? It's all about that Doug life. Well, I officially did my final type of hunt. Went duck hunting. It was a blast. Let me explain what happened. So after Corey, Trippy Trev and Charlie, the dog, and myself went pheasant hunting. Technically went to a pheasant farm and shot stuff, not quite hunting, but we wanted to find a duck farm, a similar setup for ducks, and obviously they don't take farm raised ducks and put them in bushes, since ducks are a little bit different with waterfowl. But we wanted to have a setup for like a duck club. So I did some research on that, and crazy expensive. It just seems dumb. So I went back to the drawing board. I actually got a phone number of this guy who I thought at first, I realized, okay, he doesn't own a duck club, but I thought he was like a duck guide. So I start talking to him, and basically he just goes out and shoots stuff with his friends. I'm like, and he goes, "You want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to come. I want to learn everything." So my boy James from I want to give a huge shout out to Tips Down, Ferndale, Tips Down. Woo woo. Anyway, James and the boys had the best time. So, both my wife and Corey are like, "Dude, you're totally going to get tied up, duct taped, and become the Gimp from Pulp Fiction." And, I met these guys online, or I met James, and I talked to him several times, text him. He's just like, "Come on up." So what it ended up being was him and his three of his friends, good old boys from Ferndale. I mean, great people. Salt, just like when I say going hunting in Eastern Washington, something about hunters makes it, something about hunters in general are just good people. I've never met, someone who's not a good person who's a hunter. Anyway, I went up there, left the house at 4:30 by myself, met James and his crew up in Ferndale, and he took me duck hunting. Awesome. Great experience. I came home with ducks, and he told me ahead of time it wasn't going to be a great day because of the wind. I didn't know what he meant, but what he meant was when you're duck hunting, you want wind. You want a lot of wind because what happens is, and another thing I learned, ducks have great eyesight, which most birds do. And any type of movement they can see, and they get skittish and scared away from coming into the decoys so you can shoot them. So on a windy day, the grass and everything's moving, so your movement is not quite as noticeable. Anyway, it was a dead still day, and still had some success. These guys usually bag out for Washington at 7 birds. You can only have one pintail, so there you go. I'm like already dropping all these names. So I mean, the learning curve was ginormous. I have enough information to be dangerous now to go out to do some scouting, and I kind of get talking to these guys and getting all this information. They were happy to share it. They've been hunting together. Their families, dads have been training them, and then now they've been hunting since teenagers together. And great hunting area west of Bellingham, Washington. So anyway, just let you know where I was. I went to, so here I am in Everett, drove up past Bellingham and was very close to the Canadian border. There's Ferndale. So we are actually, oh boy, I guess, oh, there we go, Lumi. It's all about the Lumi Nation, bro. We were near the Indian reservation, so I don't know exactly where we were. I could have pinpointed it. Here we go. We were right next to Washington's Fireworks Superstore. We were right on the Nook River. We were right here, right next to the casino, right on, right in this area here. And it was awesome. Basically, it was a flooded. I do not have a lot of video. I apologize. I wasn't going to go up with someone who I've not met with. I was assuming that I was going to go up with a bunch of guys my age. I roll in, and James and his buddies are all like 22. So I was like hunting with my stepsons basically, and it was fine. It was awesome. Those guys were great kids. I was really pleasantly surprised on how good they were with like safety and responsible. They obviously have been raised right, so the dads did a good job there. Anyway, it was just fine. I took them out for breakfast as a thank you for all the stuff they did for me. Anyways, the good old Nooksack, baby. Nooksack River. See if you can get close enough where it says Nooksack, so you can see them right. I don't see Nooksack, but I can guarantee you that is actually the Nooksack River. Okay, so that's where we were. And it was, unfortunately, this area has received some serious flooding in the fall and early winter, and which is now made perfect for duck hunting, because there's cornfields that are flooded, and we just went right, we went right there, and there's perfect area. So I'm going to try to now, I mean, there's always areas in this to go hunting right through here, but I'm going to try and find areas, through Lake Stevens, Monroe, Snohomish, all the way up through Stanwood. If I have to go up to Mount Vernon West, there should be great duck hunting through here. So it's the one animal that is actually better. I don't know if it's better, but it's just as good, if not better, than the east side where most of the other hunting is. Anyway, okay, so that's what I did for my hunting grade. Let's give this a grade. So my first official duck hunting, which, by the way, I have done every except for like the super specialized, like a specialized type of shrimp or something. I have done every major type of hunting in 2021. I'm very proud of that. I'm going to do end of the year conclusion video, but this is my last official hunt. It's mid-December, and the game is Corey, Trevor, and I are going to do. So we're going to buy equipment. It's very expensive. Duck decoys are you can imagine we're starting at zero. Duck calls, duck decoys. I learned things like a lot of ducks and geese have ID tags that biologists, wildlife biologists will put for tracking purposes. And the cool thing is, as a duck hunter, to get the tracking number, and you could look it up online to see where the duck originated or where they put the thing on. Sometimes it's all over the world. It's so cool what these animals can do. And then the cool thing is to put them on your lanyard, for your duck call lanyard, so you can see how cool you are, how much experience you have with all these little ID tags all over your lanyard. So yeah, duck lanyard, duck calls, duck decoys, duck decoy weights. Oh yeah, they don't come with the weights. You got to buy the weights. A bag to put your duck decoys in. If you're traveling even a quarter mile, it's probably not going to be a nice little paved road. So you're going to need some sort of industrial size little red wagon. Obviously not a red wagon, but more of a ATV red wagon to pull your crap. And it goes on and on. So we're going to try, and blinds, those are pricey. So we're going to try and collect a few things. And our goal is, before the season's over in January, to take big C-Note Charlie out and give it a try for the three of us in our first attempt. So I'm going to be the experienced one, which is the funny part. Anyway, okay, so here's the grade for duck hunt 1, baby. Did we see ducks? Yes, we saw a lot. Now, the funny thing is, and I knew this going in. It's not like it's rocket science. You're basically trying to call ducks in, and you have decoys, and you're making sounds like the ducks. So they're not coming in for mating. They're coming in to hang out. They're social, and even the different breeds are social. And So just like most of the world, or at least America, when you say duck, the number one duck would be mallard. And there's a whole slew of ducks. So it's hilarious watching the tips down boys talk about shit ducks. Oh, that's a shit duck. So basically it tastes like shit. And they could instantly, especially James was like a freaking machine. It's like this little speck from a half mile away. It's like, here they come, get ready. And here comes a pintail. Here comes that's a shit duck. And then and I'll explain all that at a later date, because there's basically two types of ducks. There's ducks that go underwater for food, and there's ducks that don't go underwater. So the ones that they like hunting, and I probably will be hunting, are the ones like mallards and pintail. And there's one more that's a big one I should know. It starts with a W. I guess I should have done a little research before I made the video. But those are the three good ones they try to shoot. And then anyway, I did learn a couple things you can't shoot would be geese. I'm sorry, not geese, swans and seagulls. So the pure white ones, they can't shoot. That's interesting. So anyway, even though there's a million seagulls, I don't know why you can't shoot them. That's a interesting question. All right. Did I shoot? Yes, I shot a duck. That was exciting. I shot a duck. The hunt, I'm going to put a 3 there, just because I was the one learning, not doing it. If I go out and can replicate what these guys did. So at first I was just following the leader, and I told them, I'm like, hey, I'm just going to be out of the way. I'm going to listen to you. You guys are in charge. And I had no issue with doing that, because these guys were legit duck hunters. Did we get it? So not only did I guess shot it. Yes, I shot probably at least 12 times. And I think I hit 4 birds, and that doesn't mean kill 4 birds. I hit 4 birds. I can't remember how many I actually killed, but the guys were nice enough to give me the 3 best, 2 mallards and a pintail, to bring home, because I put in a stew and I ate it. It's my first one. So they were nice enough to give me the top 3. That's one thing with duck hunting. You don't know exactly every time who kills it, which is kind of cool, because I wasn't in a situation where there was a swarm of ducks. I did see swarms of ducks that literally looked like bees from a hive. We're talking probably 1,000 duck swarm. So we did see that probably a mile away. They just never came to our area. And if you're thinking, well, why didn't you go over there? It was across a swampy area, through a major river, and then also Indian land. So kind of like 3 strikes there, why we didn't get over to that area. But anyway, yes, I did get it. That was exciting. So what is that? 15 divided by is that 15? That'd be 12. 15 divided by 4 is 3.75. So that's my kill score. That's a pretty big number. This one's not going to be, since it was a day trip, I had to get up at I got up at 3:45 in the morning, which wasn't a huge deal, especially to go duck hunting my first time. But, the drive was average. It's a beautiful area. Driving up north towards Bellingham is always beautiful, but it was nothing special, especially getting up at 3:45. Accommodations, I mean, I got there, and the guys, 2 things that were hilarious. And this doesn't necessarily paint the correct picture of these 2 guys, but James sent me a text that says, just meet us at the south parking lot of the casino. We're in 2 of the bigger trucks. So for people that don't live around here, Ferndale is more of a conservative rural community outside a major liberal town, Bellingham, from the college being liberal. And so I don't want to, because these guys were so like cool. I mean, I would go hang out with them in a heartbeat. But the first thing, we're just check out the 2 bigger trucks. And then during breakfast, I left my freaking phone on my car all day. I got at the casino. I'm surprised it didn't get taken. And I have all my credit cards and stuff in it, like in a little pouch. And also have my vaccination card, and it just got, you know, wet, and I take it. I'm like, oh, my vaccination card's wet. And all four of them look at me and go, "You're vaccinated?" And that's just funny because, you know, it's not necessarily they told me we're not anti-vaxxers, but they just don't want to be told what to do. I can completely respect that. It was just kind of funny. So anyways, I'm not sure how accommodations on that sidetrack, but accommodations, nothing. I mean, the guys took care of me once we got out. You know, we had a cool blind. One thing I was not ready for was squatting probably 50 times. So you kind of you stand up and kind of hang out. And then when the ducks come closer, you have to go to your knees and hide behind the blind, you know, and then you go up to shoot really fast. I mean, that wasn't the easiest thing for these old knees. So I don't know. It was kind of, you know, as far as what this means, accommodations, like I didn't stay overnight. I'm going to put that as a not really applicable. So food, you know, geez Louise, it was hard to bring anything because we packed everything in. It wasn't quite a mile, half a mile, but it was through all mud and pricker bushes. Not through pricker bushes, but it was a path, and I got caught up, tripped up. So all I had to bring was some snacks. I'm going to go 2, and that's not a hard average. So average for trip score was 2. Let's see, practice. You know, I haven't practiced recently, but the best thing for duck hunting obviously is trap shooting. So this one is kind of irrelevant. The research, this was in the ballpark of finding Turkey Jim's hunting cabin. Seriously, just randomly. James and his buddies made a website when they're in high school for a high school project. That's how I got his number. It wasn't like he was advertising for random people to come hunt with them. I got extremely lucky. So I'm going to do a 4 there just because that was like incredibly lucky. Fall through, you know, James tell me there's no wind. It's probably not going to be a good day. I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning, but I still did it. You know, working all day. I thought it was important enough to do this as my final, and I'm super excited. I got my ass up and went with these guys. Clothes, I was pretty happy. Now, of course, I had to duct tape a lot of things, and the tip down boys thought that was super funny, and it was funny. So I was pretty proud of myself. So James said, I hope you have rubber boots. If you do, bring them. So basically, my boys Ned and Will told me that to go fly fishing, they prefer to have the waders that you put into boots. So what you have is a neoprene sock that you have instead of a rubber boot fitted to the waders. So all the duck hunters had the rubber boot style. So I have a neoprene sock that I slip into sorrel boots. I didn't spend the $150 for the fancy felt lining fly fishing boot. I just put them in a little bit larger sorrel boots that I have. Sorrel boots are just what most people wear in where I'm from, Wisconsin, and in the winter they have that wool liner, and it's usually brown boot, and anyway, and they're more snowproof, you know, as far as snowproof mean, like when it melts, it's not going to get into. Anyway, so I figured that there would be a lot of mud and water. So I went old school. This is what people do growing up in Wisconsin, is that you would put a grocery bag, back when they used to have plastic grocery bags, or in this case, I took an actual medium-sized trash bag and I put it over my sock and duct taped it around my lower pant leg. So I was going into the boot with a plastic sock, so to speak. So because I knew I was going to get submerged and I didn't want to get my feet wet all day. That's probably the worst thing you could do. So I'm very proud. And there's other things that I don't have time for that I share that I'm proud of. So that is a 4, my plan. I kicked ass on 4s. Oops, I put it in the wrong spot. So we're going to go boom. We're going to go boom, 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 boom. And that is a 4. Very excited about that. Okay. So delete. It was overall, this was a great experience. Yeah, and you know what? Coming, these guys are like, well, James, like, sorry, we didn't, you didn't bag out. Bag out would be get your limit of what you're able to do. And I'm like, you know what? I learned how to duck hunt, and I shot some, and I'm coming home. That's a win. That was a win for me. These guys who have been hunted for a long time, I think, have a little bit higher of a standard than Corey and I do, because if we get, we're kind of happy if we get to shoot at something. Okay, so last night, these are this was not an actual trip. So there was no overnight thing. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I mean, it was epic. It was awesome. So yeah, I had a great time with these guys. Of course, at first it was awkward. I showed up at 5:30 on an Indian reservation casino with guys I've never met before. But right after I met them, I knew it was, you know, it was cool. And as the day broke and I see that I'm hanging out with basically my stepson's age kids, who I have no problem with hanging out, by the way, either. Once I realized that, and they were highly respectful, highly, you know, like patient. Gosh, where's my phone? I gotta get a shout out to a couple of the guys, all four of them. I'll give them a shout out when I do my highlight video for the end of the year. But all four of them were great guys. Okay, so I did that again, didn't I? Okay, so my overall score, this is going to be a high one. I have 3.75, so that's 8, 10, 13.75. So 13.75 divided by 4 is 3 point, so that's a 3.44 rounded. 3.44. Okay, so that puts me at, you know what? Yeah, 3.44. I don't know how the spring turkey, when I didn't shoot anything, was a 3.7, but I think that's because we had an epic party and we had a good time with Jim. And anyway, so this is my third best hunt of the year. So that is exciting. So there we go. I'm going to put duck 1. Oops. Duck 1. And that is 3.44. So, so I have 4 official hunts, for gun hunting. There's 4 official hunts. And then I'm making a top 10 list for end of the year. So I don't know if I even have 10. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't account. Well, I'm going to have to count for my bear hunting, which I didn't see any bears. It's going to be so here's my fish scores. Do I have all of them? Anyway, I have 9. I'll have to come up with one, maybe imaginary one. So anyways, this was fun. Again, I appreciate the Tips Down boys helping me out. I should say helping us out, because this is going to be something that is going to help my crew, Corey, Trevor, and I also saw how James worked his dog, Tennessee, Big T. And so he worked Tennessee. I saw him how he did that and stuff. So it was incredible learning experience. I mean, I came in with very limited knowledge, and these kids, these guys, I mean, they're all adults, but you know, if you're 50, 20-year-olds are kids, but these guys, you know, were willing to share and answer anything. And we all had a good time. They got, of course, when Two Fur's on a roll, he can get anybody laughing. So the guys, I think, enjoyed it just as much. Anyways, that's all I got. That's all I got for you. So officially Big D signing out. Have a good one.